All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Jay coming back again with another stream tonight, July 12th, 2023. We're getting into the Cowboys. Cowboys 2023-2004 season predictions. Also got a couple other stories for you guys as we prepare for the NFL preseason. We literally got about, what do we got? About 2-3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Realistically, until preseason starts. August is going to lead to the hype. And we are on day 12 of our 32 teams in 31 days. Make sure you guys smash that like, that thumbs up. And, of course, if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Turn on your notifications that way you don't miss a stream as for NFL content, NBA content, life news, and more. All right. Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family as we get started. Shout out to Immortal and Serious Biz. What up, yo? What's going on with you guys? Question of the day. Is Tony Pollard better than Zeke? Better than Mr. Zeke. Immortal says no sound. You got no sound? I'm looking at the audio. It's coming through. Anybody else having issues? Or is it just me? How's the sound? How's the sound going? Yeah, I've got my bars. I've got output. So Mortal says I can't hear you. Let's see. Hold on. Al Bundy says Dak is trash. Serious, it's good. Immortal, you got to turn up. Turn up your volume, bro. Serious says he's got me. Yeah, I see myself here on the output, so everything's good on my side. Might want to refresh. All right. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the Dallas Cowboys 2003-2024 season predictions. Dak Prescott, life after for Zeke. And, yeah, that's how we're going to get started. Before we do that, make sure you guys smash that like, that thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, Mr. Dak Prescott, one of the biggest things that I've come to notice over the years is when the game is on the line, Dak Prescott has a historic value in not being able to pull off those big games. Now, whether or not it has to do with talent, because I do think there's a big difference between obviously having talent and just being a dog, right? Will yourself to win. Obviously, last season, he was injured, had issues with interceptions, things like that. But, hey, we're moving on to a new year. But I want to say the biggest thing to me is his ability to finish, right? Just because you run on that field, you practiced, you throw on that jersey, being able to finish is the most important part of the game. Doesn't matter how many yards you get. Doesn't matter how many completions you get. If you can't move that ball and get to the end zone, you're not going to win the game. Shout out to Al Bundy. Says him and Romo. Y'all are already getting started. Listen, I'm not trying to beat up Dak Prescott. I know the Cowboys fans are going to come for me after this. I'm really not. I'm trying to stay even-keeled. Y'all know y'all know we joke over here and all that. But I'm trying to stay even-keeled, and I'm really trying to be as delicate as I can because I really just feel like when it comes down to it in clutch moments, Dak just has not found that fight, that dog in him so that he can go to the next level. And I'll tell you this, and it may be just me, this is just my opinion. For some reason, I just don't feel like Dak is really the leader of his team. He's the quarterback. He's the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. But there's a difference between a quarterback who's a leader and a quarterback who is just playing on a team. And I feel like he's somewhere in the middle. I'm not saying he's not a leader or can be. I just feel like he's not really leading the Cowboys But that's just my personal take. So, shout out to Serious Business. I'll be real about him. We got to get you on the cam, bro. We got to get you on the cam. All right. Let's get into the stats. Last season, Dallas Cowboys scored 27.5 versus the opponent's 20.1. Total points, 467 versus 342. Total touchdowns, 55 versus 35. Total first downs, 347 versus 327. Rushing first downs, 129 versus 119. Passing first downs, 194 versus 174. First down by penalty, 24. Third down efficiency, 105 versus 231. 45% third down completion. Fourth down efficiency was 10 for 19, 52.63%. Getting into the passing, 355 passes on 556 attempts. Net passing yards, 3,736. 7 yards per attempt, 219.8 net passing yards per game. Passing touchdowns, 28 versus 23. Interceptions, we just talked about that earlier, 18 versus 16. Sacks and then yards lost, 27 and 175 yards lost. So, on to the rushing. 531 versus 497. Rushing yards, 2,298. 4.3 on the rush attempts, yards per rush attempt. 135.2 yards per game rushing. Rushing touchdowns, 24 and 9. Let's go over to the penalties. 104 total yards as far as for penalties. Average yards per game. Lost in penalties, 49. Time of possession, 29-37. So a lot to unpack there. But if we break it down by individual, which we're going to do it. This thing wants to work. It doesn't want to work. No, Jay, I don't want to do that for you. All right, here we go. Let's get into Dak. Now, obviously, you guys know he was injured. So we're just going to break this down. Last season. All right, so 2,860 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He ended the season 12th with a QBR of 57.9. Average was 7.3. 20 sacks. So 261 completions on 394 attempts. It's really tough. And I'll tell you this. Obviously, we can say that he had a less productive year because he was injured. Fine. But if you just look at the previous years, even 2021, 410 attempts, 596 completions, 596 attempts, 68.8 on the completion percentage, 4,449 yards. That was actually his second best year out of his career. Average 7.5, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 30 sacks. QBR was 60.5. I mean, you could say over the last 3 years he's been consistent, but he hasn't elevated. He hasn't gotten better. And if you guys remember last year when Mr. Cooper Rush came in, I was actually kind of excited for the Cowboys. I was hoping that Cooper Rush would come in there and he'd make a difference and show up. Which he did. He came in, he played fairly well. And then, started to slow down before Dak came back in. But, I really think that Cooper had things figured out for a little bit. And he just needed some more time playing. Will the Cowboys move on from Dak and give Cooper Rush the opportunity to put the team on his shoulders? Probably not, unless Dak gets severely injured again. But hey, you never know. Shout out to Haynes. What's up, man? What's going on with you? Al Bundy says Zeke looks slow in that offensive clip he posted. Yeah, there's a lot to get into with Zeke. There was actually conversations I was listening to earlier about whether or not him joining the Jets going over to the Patriots, all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure what happens with Zeke. I think he wants too much money. Obviously, once I know what's going on with Zeke, we'll get into that. But to me, Tony Pollard's better. He's more hungry. He put up exceptional numbers, which we'll actually go ahead and get to that, Mr. Tony Pollard. All right, so 193 carries, 1,007 yards, 9 touchdowns. He averaged 5.2. Didn't fumble, didn't lose any, 3 touchdowns. And this was, that's his average. So, 9.5 on the average right there. You can't beat that. And I get why the Cowboys decided to go with Tony Pollard over Zeke. Zeke, in a sense, he got the bag, he got the money, and then, he started eating, getting relaxed on that bench. That's what happens. When you lose that fight, you lose that hunger. And I think that's problematic too, because when you decide to pay somebody what they're worth, is the work ethic going to change when they get the paycheck? And I kind of think that's possibly that's what happened with Zeke. Was it more so about getting the ring, or was it more so about getting the money, or the money and the ring? Right? I respect you if you're trying to hustle and get the bag, right? Everybody wants to get the bag, but you still got to go out there and ball so you can get the ring as well. Al Bundy says Tony is excellent. Yes, he is. Khalil Herbert averaged 5.2. Serious Biz says that soup is filling, huh? That soup is definitely filling. As far as wide receivers go, you guys know about those wide receivers. Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup. Obviously, we have Jake Ferguson on the tight end. Left tackle is going to be Tyron Smith. Left guard, Tyler Smith. Center is Tyler Baedes. Right guard is going to be Zach Martin. And right tackle, Terrence Steele. CeeDee Lamb was basically so utilized last year. I forgot that anybody else even played for the Cowboys. We'll bring that up. This man had 107 receptions on 1,359 yards, 9 touchdowns, averaged 12.7. He had the most yards of all receivers, but if you go look at their stats, we'll use Gallup as an example. It's kind of interesting. 39 receptions, 424 yards. It's under half. Maybe if the Cowboys offensive coordinator figure out some plays in regards to spreading the ball out more, you wouldn't have had so many issues as far as with interceptions. If we know that he's always going to a specific wide receiver, we're going to make sure that we watch where his eyes are going, make sure we push up the safety so they can come in and play better defense. Hey, are those linebackers going to be out there watching Gallup when he knows you're not going to pass it to him? Obviously not. So, hey. Serious Biz says steady eating, not competing. Listen, and that's not to take away from CeeDee Lamb, right? If the ball's being thrown his way, he's obviously going to cook. That's what he's supposed to do. Feed me the ball. I'm gonna get my numbers. But I definitely think the ball should have been spread out a lot more than what it was, considering he got all the yardage. And sometimes that creates strife in the offense itself. That creates problems in the locker room when one wide receiver is getting all the receptions and all the yards. Looking at you, Stephon Diggs. All right. All right, so as far as the offensive line goes, obviously we end that with Terrence Steele. Getting into the defense, DeMarcus Lawrence, Mozzie Smith, Osa Odezula, Micah Parsons, who had a strong year, Leighton Vander Esch as well, Damone Clark, Jabril Cox had a great year, Stephon Gilmore, who's moved around, Jerron Kearse, Donovan Wilson, and the other Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. Now, there's not really much bad that I can say about this defense. They were ridiculously good. And I think at the beginning of the season last year, a lot of people were scared to play against him because they knew that the Cowboys defense was without a doubt ready to go, ready to demolish and crush the competition. Especially Micah Parsons. He balled out. Now, how that fares with the offense is always what comes into question. Yes, if your offense can keep you, in the game close enough, then the offense is going to step up and potentially help you win the game. But I feel like the defense had to do more than the offense last year, and that's why the Cowboys didn't have the opportunities that they did. Shout out to Bundy, says, Cooks and Gilmore were great additions, both a bit old and past their prime, but still productive. Cooks helps out Trash Scott because he will stretch the field a lot. Well, it goes back to what I said. Is he going to keep going to CeeDee Lamb, or is he actually going to get him the ball? That's the question. But yeah, Cooks is definitely going to, he's a good, solid receiver. He's got great hands. He's still, he's past his prime, but he does have that speed. That's why they picked him up. And then, of course, Gilmore, Mr. Patriot, who was obviously on the Bills before that. This was during that time. Remember when we take somebody who's really good. Bill Belichick would find someone who was like just okay on a different team and bring them over, and they just be astronomically better on the Patriots. Well, that was Stephon Gilmore. So, but now he's with the Cowboys. So yeah. Shout out to Immortal, says solid defense. They gave Justin Fields fits. Yes, they did. Definitely did. All right, so that's going to be your defense for the 2023-2024 NFL season for the Cowboys. Moving on to the special teams, punt kicker is going to be Tristan Vizcano. Second is going to be Brady Aubrey. Brian Anger. And then your kick return is Cavante Turpin. Long snapper is going to be Trent Sieg. Sieg or Siege? I'm guessing it's Sieg, but hey. Getting to the schedule, let's look back at last year. All right, preseason, so they won against the Buccaneers, 31-14, lost to the 49ers. And then getting into the regular season, lost to Tampa Bay, 19-3 with Prescott, 134 yards. Elliott had 52 yards on the rush, 68 on the receptions for Brown. Won against the Bengals with rush. One against the Giants with rush, one against the Commanders at rush, and then the Rams, and then lost to the Eagles, in which Prescott came back off his injury. He then beat the Lions, the Bears, which was a big one. Shout out to Omerto. And then lost to Green Bay, 31-28 in overtime. Went on to win against the Vikings, the Giants, the Colts, Texans. Lost to the Jaguars, 40-34 in overtime. Won against the Eagles, won against the Titans, and then lost to the Commanders, 26-6. Wow. All right, so Fred Lucky says Dallas is going to be 9-8. Let's look at it. Let's see. All right, week 1, New York Giants. Danny Dimes is, I don't think he was what everyone thought he was going to be. I think he became better. I think what's in question right now is obviously Saquon Barkley's contract. There was talks that his contract would potentially make him miss a game or two or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure they'll probably have that all figured out before week 1. But that was the current conversation. With that said, the Giants have a lot going for them. I definitely think this is going to be a good first week game. For me, it's going to be a toss-up. It really is. I think it's that even. Shout out to Jerry Fuentes. Says Tony is definitely better than Zeke. What up, Jay? It's been a while. Shout out to you, Jerry. Much love, man. Shout out to you for coming through. Much love. Thank you for the support. Make sure you guys are smashing out like that thumbs up as we continue on. All right, week 2. It's going to be against the Jets, Mr. Aaron Rodgers and company. This is another one. This is not going to be an easy 2 games for the Cowboys. With that said, there's more chemistry between Prescott and company opposed to Aaron Rodgers. So I do think that they may actually have the edge on this one. Arizona Cardinals, I think this would be an easy victory for the Cowboys. Back to the Patriots, whether or not Bill Belichick has studied enough tape in the first 3 weeks to figure out how he's going to stop Dak Prescott with his defense. I'm going to go ahead and give that one to the Cowboys as well. 49ers, I don't trust Trey Lance. I just don't. But that doesn't discredit everyone else on that team. They have a great defense, solid offense. You guys seen what they did last year. Does Trey Lance have talent and skill? Sure, but I just haven't seen enough of it. That's the problem. With that said, I'm still going to have to go San Francisco. Another great game, Week 6, is going to be against the Chargers. Herbert and company, I think it's going to be another dogfight. I'll give this one to the Cowboys. I'll give that one to the Cowboys. Al Bundy says Danny Dimes won't be doing anything if Giants don't sign Saquon. I agree. You're going to need Saquon back there. And Saquon knows that, so that's why he's playing the game that he's playing right now. Wait, listen, get your money, get your bag. When you do a good job, get it. But the problem with Saquon is injuries. So, that front office is looking at that like, well, hey, you want this amount of money, but we know about your injuries, so we got to figure this thing out. But you're right. So, yeah, I definitely think Cowboys may take week 6 against the Chargers. They'll go on a bye week 7. Playing against the Rams week 8, I think they'll take that one. Week 9, they'll go against the Eagles. I'm going to go towards the Eagles on this one. Week 10, they'll rematch with the Giants. Once again, whether or not Giants have that core offense, I'm going to have to go with Cowboys here. Carolina, Panthers, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Commanders, different quarterback this year. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same kind of situation. I'm going to go Cowboys against the Commanders. Against the Seahawks, I think Geno may take care of business. Seahawks are nothing to play with. They're definitely a sleeper team. Can't wait to talk about them. Week 14, they'll play the Eagles again. I'm going to go Eagles there. Bills Mafia, you already know. Week 15, go with my Bills. Week 16, Miami. It's going to get tough. If Tua is at 100%, I don't think Cowboys win this game. Detroit Lions, this is a questionable one. Monday Night Football, Jared Goff and company, they're coming to play. They're strong this year. This is going to be a great one. I think it's another toss-up. And then I think the Cowboys will finish off winning Week 18 against the Commanders. Shout out to Bob Evans. What's up, man? Cowboys fan in the house. I didn't beat you guys up too much. I didn't beat them up too much. Preseason, which is going to start 8-12, they'll play Jacksonville. 8-19, they'll play Seattle. And then 8-26, they'll play Las Vegas. And that'll be preseason starting in August. So, I mean, for the most part, this is a mixed schedule. I got them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got them for 8. I got them for 8. I know someone's mad out there. Someone's going to throw something at their computer screen, or they're going to go burn a jersey, or they're going to go break one of their TVs in their house, because that's what Cowboys fans do. I love y'all, though. But that's just the reality of it. I've got 8. I don't see a playoff run. They would have to do something magical. They'd have to do something magical against the 49ers, the Eagles. So, yeah. Yeah. Yo, y'all making me laugh. I was trying to hold it in. Y'all making me laugh. I was trying to hold it in. Listen, y'all know how them Cowboys fans be. Don't play. You seen the tapes. You seen the videos on social media. Boys is nuts. Shout out to you, Bob. It's on the way, bro. It's on the way. You guys know I've been holding out, Bob, because I know once you get it, you're probably gonna burn it. So I've been holding out. That's why I want to make sure that you have it for week 1 at least. I don't want you to burn it before week 1, so you'll have it before then. Don't worry. Shout out to Fred Lucky. What's up, man? Listen, I got them for 8. They could do more. It's going to be whether or not they can get past these tough teams. All right. If they can get past the Eagles, if they can get past the Bills, Miami, then hey, they might make it to the postseason. I say your X factor is Dak Prescott. Can he, stay healthy? And obviously, can he find that dog in him? Can he find that dog in him? Okay, so moving on. Mr. Alvin Kamara, that running back from the Saints who has done great things for the Saints over the years, and we thought he'd be a star player, in which he's been great, right? He's been okay. He's done some things. Well, he's recently been in the news. Says Saints Alvin Kamara has agreed to plead no contest to a lesser charge. New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara has agreed to plead no contest to a misdemeanor charge of breach of peace for his involvement in the 2022 fight in Las Vegas, according to court records. Kamara and the 3 other men were initially facing misdemeanor charges of conspiracy to commit battery and a felony charge of battery with substantial bodily harm. Kamara is no longer facing felony charges after accepting the plea deal, his attorney David Chisnoff said on Tuesday. Kamara will do 30 hours of community service and pay the alleged victim in the fight $105,000 for medical bills. Alvin is pleased that the matter is behind him and looking forward to a successful NFL season. Kamara and 3 other men, including free agent cornerback Chris Lemons, were arrested on battery charges after they were accused of injuring a man outside a nightclub on the eve of the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas on February 6, 2022. Kamara played in the Pro Bowl and then was taken into custody afterwards. Now listen, here's the thing. When you look at the situations that happen, we speak about players, entertainers, and all these people as if they're role models. I feel like at this point that a lot of the people that are in these industries just aren't role models anymore. And that's not to say that they can't do good for the community. They can't do good for people. I just think that we as a society have to stop looking up to these individuals because nobody's perfect. Right? And long are the days where you can hold someone at, high esteem because they have the moral value or the moral character that you're looking for. To be at a standard, right? Because I feel like last year I was talking about a story about a player in jail time or a weapon or something crazy, domestic violence every other week. That's just the reality of it. So none of these stories surprise me anymore. But moving on, all 4 men were indicted by a grand jury on February 16, 2023. After hearings for the case were continued several times throughout 2022, Kamara was also sued in civil court by the alleged victim. Obviously, he wanted some money, who filed a lawsuit against him in Louisiana last October. The alleged victim, Darnell Green Jr., accused Kamara and the other men of beating him and then stomping on him while he was unconscious. While Green initially requested damages of $10 million from Kamara, a notice of removal in Louisiana court last November said that Kamara had never actually been formally served with the lawsuit. The 2 men reached a private settlement July 10th, according to Green's lawyer, Tony Busby. So yeah, he ended up getting the bag. He just didn't get the $10 million. Probably got maybe $500,000. His lawyer told him to settle out, kicked him over a couple hundred, and that was it. It's just the reality of it. Shout out to Serious Biz, says 70s and 80s, unfortunately gone forever. Yes, that time is gone. That time is gone. Shout out to Serious NDA, yeah, non-disclosure agreement. You know how that goes. Tiger Woods knows exactly how that goes. Immortal says it takes 3 dudes to beat him, right? I feel like a lot of these stories are highly exaggerated. 3 NFL players, you needed 3 of those guys to beat one person. These guys that are in peak physical shape. It took 3 of them. All right. That's totally fine. So, I obviously called this this stream the cheese. Well, speaking of the cheese, Mr. DeAndre Hopkins has been in talks with multiple teams. Patriots, Bills, even the Ravens at one point, I think it was. But right now, goes on to say that the Bills want to sign DeAndre Hopkins and they're making it a priority. The question is, contract or Super Bowl? Do you want the money or do you want to get a ring? I think I said something like this about a week back, that he was, trying to find the right fit. He wanted to go to a team where he would get the money and could potentially get the ring. Well, where else would it be than Bills Mafia themselves, where you can potentially get some money and have a great chance at a ring? So, goes on to say, want one last big contract? Nothing wrong with that. Want to end the DeAndre Derby by hooking up for a big Super Bowl bid? The Buffalo Bills would like Hopkins to know that there's nothing wrong with that either. So, goes on to say the easy joke response to the latest report of the Buffalo Bills being involved in the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes is all about dreamy, unreachable wishes. Yeah, and I want $1 million or choose your amount. Yeah, and I want to date with Haley Steinfeld or pick somebody who was not already involved with Josh Allen. That's a great joke. And this is where we are truly at with the Bills and their chance to sign the coveted free agent receiver. The offer seems to be less about offering money and more about offering a better chance at winning than the Patriots or Titans can offer. NFL insider Jeff Darlington was among the first to present this concept during a Monday appearance on the Rich Eisen show. Darlington said he still believes Hopkins has a spot in Buffalo if he wants it. My understanding with the Bills is, they love DeAndre Hopkins and he'd be a great addition, but they're not going to pay him, Darlington said. If he wants to ring chase, there's a spot for him. So, listen, the big problem here is this. You've already got Stephon Diggs whining and complaining because he feel like he's not getting the ball enough, right? You've got Gabe Davis. You've got Dawson Knox. You've got the new kid, Tommy. There's so much. Dalton. You've got so much as far as from a wide receiver point of view there. To me, it kind of doesn't make sense, and that's why they can't pay Hopkins as much money as he wants. I'm guessing if they did come up with some kind of contract, it would be a small guarantee, and then there would be some incentives for him. And then obviously he have a great chance of winning a ring, but the Bills just aren't going to pay him what he wants on a monetary level. I just don't see it. Goes on to say if Hopkins wants to win a championship, maybe he'd take less or maybe he wouldn't. There's no guarantee that joining the Bills will put them over the top. Buffalo's interest seems perfunctory until they make an offer that competes with the offer made by their division rivals in New England. So while Buffalo isn't out of the question, it's not likely that Hopkins will take less to go there. There's a lot of words. Hopkins will, or he won't, or he might not. You guys know how this works, right? Wide receivers like DeAndre Hopkins obviously want as much money as they can get because this is the end of their career, right? He's not in his prime anymore. So right now, he's trying to get as much money as he can, but he's also trying to play for a team where he could potentially get a ring. This is the end of the road. But at the end of the day, he still has to play his cards right because he could end up with nothing. And then he may have to go with whatever is just given to him and play that game as well. Shout out to Al Bundy. Says he wants the money. He doesn't want a ring. Otherwise, he wouldn't have considered Tennessee or New England. Yo, shout out to Al. Al's coming with the jokes today, yo. He is coming with the jokes today. That is hilarious. Tennessee Tactical, what's up, man? Says I'd like to see him in Tennessee. He wouldn't be bad there. You guys definitely need some wide receivers. You guys definitely need a veteran who's going to go out there, have the speed, good hands, knows how to run those routes, and Hopkins would be that person. The question is whether or not Tennessee would bring him a ring. So, Serious Biz says, "Go out with honor. Don't play yourself, D-Hop." Yeah, I mean he's got to make a decision, right? The best decision for him would, take the small payday with the Bills. Throw that blue jersey on, and try to fit in where you can. Show up when you need to, and help the Bills get to a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58, in fact. So, all right. Well, now, speaking of cheese again, what is this? What is this? The real question is, would you eat this as well? Look at this thing. Do you see this? 20 slices of cheese. I thought this was fake when I heard about the story. All right. I thought it was fake. I was like, oh, this is a joke. It went viral. So then I was like, all right, well, it must be like just a fake story. So no, CNN started talking about it. And I was like, this is a real thing. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
Burger, and I believe each one of those little cheese slices is Burger King's latest offering in Thailand. There's no meat involved, just 20 slices of cheese and the bun, of course. I suspect that technically makes it a cheese sandwich, but details. Demand for the so-called real cheeseburger is apparently off the charts, mainly thanks to viral videos of people eating them.
The demand is off the chart. Are you kidding? Listen. So I'm guessing that like each piece of cheese is anywhere between like 200 calories, something like that. 20 pieces of cheese. That's literally more than 2,000 calories on this cheeseburger. There's no burger. You can't call this a cheeseburger. Just because you put cheese in the middle of two buns does not make it a burger. And yes, you can give me your little statement about, well, veggie burgers aren't real burgers. I get it. But just putting a whole bunch of cheese in between two buns, in fact, 20 slices of it, and calling a burger is not only wrong, it's disgusting. I'm not eating it. I'm not sold. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I cannot believe that people are actually eating this and digesting it. Listen, I'm a big fan of like cereal. I can't have like that much milk, but I can have it. This would probably kill me. I'm being a little over the top, but I'm just being honest with you. Your boy Jay would be in the hospital. I probably wouldn't be able to stream for like a good 2-3 weeks. You guys would miss me. I'm not eating that. Shout out to Immortal says it's a fatty grilled cheese. This is beyond grilled cheese. This is absolutely stupid. That's what it is. I'm not eating it. If you want to save your insides, please don't. But hey, if you do it, take a video of it and send it to me because I want to see what happens to you and how you feel, and I'll do a reaction of it because this is absolutely insane. But I'll finish the video with you guys.
On social media. Now, I did some analysis. 381 calories for a Burger King cheeseburger, and I believe each one of those little cheese slices is 113 calories. So I make that 2,260 calories for the cheese alone. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I can't. Yo, shout out to Al Buddy says, want some bread with your cheese? Like, this is absolutely insane. Who at Burger King's research and development was like, you know what? Sales are down right now. Let's throw 20 slices of cheese in between two buns and promote it and market it, and they're going to eat it up. They're going to love it. It's going to go viral. I think I have the wrong job. I do. I think I'm just going to start doing this kind of stuff. You know, I'm just going to call McDonald's. Hey, I got a new idea for a sandwich. Just throw 22 pieces of cheese on it and some bread. It'll sell millions. Who signed off on this? I'm moving on from it. I'm done. Disgusted. Speaking of moving on. This guy right here. Mr. Elon Musk. Now, whether or not you like him or you hate him, there's no denying that he's worth a lot of money. He's became very successful, very profitable in his businesses. He's also made some questionable business decisions in regards to purchasing Twitter. Some people would like to say he's ran it down to the ground. Some people on Twitter are actually saying that as well. But the employees are the ones who are the most mad right now. Well, as it looks like, Mr. Elon Musk and Twitter has been hit with a $500 million lawsuit over Twitter severance packages. They didn't pay their employees. Or let me rephrase that. Some of their employees didn't get paid. And they're going to court over it. So let's get into the story. A former Twitter employee filed a proposed class action lawsuit against Elon Musk and Twitter successor Corp, saying thousands of workers were wrongfully denied full severance in the aftermath of Musk's takeover of the company. About 6,000 Twitter employees laid off since November 2022 haven't received the benefits they were entitled to under the company's severance plan. Plaintiff Courtney McMillan said in a complaint filed Wednesday in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California, the 3 months of compensation given to some employees is a fraction of what they're owed under the plan, which is no less than $500 million in the aggregate, McMillan said. Twitter's severance plan entitles senior employees to 6 months base pay plus 1 additional week of pay for each year of service. McMillan said in the complaint, less senior employees are entitled to 2 months base pay along with several months of outplacement services, she said. McMillan accuses Musk of employing a dishonest strategy to retain employees by promises of the plan's severance, and then they denied the plan's existence when the employees were fired. Yo, this is absolutely insane. Let me read this to you again. McMillan accuses Musk of employing a dishonest strategy to retain employees by promises of the plan's severance, and then denied the plan's existence when the employees were fired. So listen, this is the plan, all right? Just keep doing your job. And a couple weeks later, I'm going to fire you, and I'm going to say the plan never existed. Good luck. Yo, you cannot make this up. It is really crazy because, you know, obviously these are all accusations, and I have to say this is allegedly, right? All this stuff is allegedly. He's being accused of it. It's absolutely wild that, number one, that you would believe someone who says stuff like this. I mean, if you were an employee of Twitter and you didn't look at his history at Tesla, I mean, this one's going to be on you. Now, hey, I'm all for people getting the bag, get your money. But you got to be able to spot certain stuff. When someone comes to you and says, hey, I want you guys to work hard, keep doing your job, it's going to be fine. And you didn't look at their past history at the other companies? Come on now. We'll keep it going, though. She brings claims against Musk X Corp and X Holdings under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act on behalf of a proposed class of thousands of former Twitter employees. In response to Bloomberg Law's email request for comment, Twitter sent an automated poop emoji. You cannot make this up. Bloomberg Law's email request for comment, Twitter sent back an automated poop emoji as the response. What? Now listen, I've got some of the case files actually pulled up here. I actually go through this stuff. I don't just spew stuff out. I went through and read it. I'm specifically going to go through the actual page 9 for you guys so you can see how crazy this is. But you can actually pull up the document yourself. It's out there ready to be viewed. The whole case document. Here we go. This is what I found was absolutely crazy. It says on page 9 of the document, upon information and belief, Mr. Musk and the Doe defendants indicated that Mr. Musk did not intend for Twitter to follow the plan's procedures or pay the plan's promised severance because of the expense involved. At these meetings, Twitter, Mr. Musk, and or the Doe defendants exercised complete control over the plan and the forthcoming severance to be offered to fired employees. At no point did Twitter, Mr. Musk, the Doe defendants, or anyone with control over discretion over the plan inform employees of the anticipated changes to the severance plan. You know, when you're working for a corporate company, they basically have to send you like a memo or an email or give you a document that says, hey, in 30 days, this specific plan is going to change. And they make you sign off on it, basically making sure that you got the document and all this other stuff. Your human resources person will normally hound you over that information so they get it back. So it protects them on the back end and their company. Well, obviously, this didn't happen at all. We'll keep it going. It says, in fact, management communication with plan participants had largely gone silent since Musk's takeover. Well, this is obviously because he had already fired everybody. He was taking care of everything for himself. Whereas employees previously used Slack to inquire about company policies like the plan, resulting in the acquisition FAQs, which is your frequently asked questions, and company-wide email from management. Employees now encounter the opposite of responsiveness and transparency. Really? You mean to say after he bought the company, things went quiet and dark, huh? Goes on to say defendants occasionally shut down Twitter's Slack entirely. And as has been publicly reported, Mr. Musk ordered his subordinates to comb through employees' Slack and Twitter accounts, including employees' personal Slack conversations with other employees. Twitter then fired employees who were found to have sent messages critical of Mr. Musk or his management decisions. According to public reporting, the result was hundreds of firings. This is absolutely ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely ridiculous. Shout out to Immortal says, I hope Elon buys Microsoft next. Listen, that'd be crazy. He doesn't have enough money for that. Microsoft is worth so much. We'll go in a couple more paragraphs and then we'll wrap this up. But it says plan participants were left in the dark regarding the severance benefits they had been repeatedly promised. It has been reported that Twitter told some plan participants to view Mr. Musk's personal Twitter account or listen to a podcast hosted by Mr. Musk's friends for information about the layoffs and changes to company policies such as the Twitter severance plan. Imagine, whoever's watching this right now, whoever listens to or watches this later, imagine your management team coming to you. You say, I have a question about my payroll. Hey, just go watch your boss's Twitter account and you'll find out there. I'm speechless. Let me go ahead and sip this water. Who else is running multi-billion-dollar companies from Twitter? Just typing, handling business meetings and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to Threads. That's Twitter's new competition set up by Mark Zuckerberg. We'll get into that in another one of these streams. But yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stories, and it's just really unfortunate that people, had their faith in this individual and hoped that they were going to be taken care of. Business is business. How things work. It's how things work. Shout out to Immortal says, have AI run Twitter and Google. Yeah. All right, so what do we got tomorrow? Let me just go through this list here. Serious Bit says I disconnect forever. Man, I mean, I feel like you'd have to. I definitely feel like you'd have to, because this is a lot to take in, without a doubt. All right, so let's look at tomorrow. What do we got? We have, I think it's the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure it's the Dolphins. Yep, it's the Dolphins. So tomorrow the 13th is going to be the Dolphins. We'll get into that. I'm actually very excited to get into these Dolphins. We got a lot to unpack as far as with Tua, the injuries, the dynamic offense that they have with, Waddle, Hill, running back, Mostert's over there now. Yeah, Mostert. So, yeah, we'll definitely dive into those Dolphins tomorrow. Obviously, you guys know I'm churning out the news. I'm churning out the sports. This is going to be the thing from now on out. Once we get into the NFL season, obviously it's going to be back to sports streams heavy, sports news heavy. We'll throw in some viral news and stuff from there, but we'll definitely be back to normal once the NFL season gets going. Shout out to Jeff King, my man Jeff in the building. What's up, Jeff? Says, was Elon a stand-in for the Phantom of the Opera? Yo, he does look like that's what he was preparing to do. He's gonna throw on the mask and everything. He was ready to go. No, Mr. Musk and Twitter is being sued. So that was the story that we just covered. He's being sued for $500 million because Twitter chose not to, or Twitter allegedly. I have to throw that alleged word in there. Got to protect Jay over here. Twitter allegedly decided to not pay some employees that they had fired their severance packages. So, yeah, that's why we were covering Mr. Musk. So, that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys smash that like, that thumbs up. And obviously, we're going to wrap this up with the question of the day. Is Tony Pollard better than Zeke? Out of 25 votes, 80% of you said yes. And I agree. Shout out to Sheila. Says Elon is definitely different. Yo, y'all gonna get me going, and I was trying to do it. You know what? I'm not doing it. I see you guys tomorrow. Yo, smash that like, that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that bell, turn your notifications. Everyone have a good evening, and we'll see you guys. See you guys tomorrow. You guys be trying to get me going, yo.